Hi everybody. Today we are going to do a seminar on sleep. We're going to talk about a few sleep techniques and a few sleep supplements and things that you can do to get your sleep on track in order to decrease anxiety, help with depression, improve your skin appearance, tone down GI issues. I can go on for days. It also prevents dementia. The number one risk factor for dementia, not enough sleep. Just saying. So let's get started. The first step in getting a better night's sleep is to make sleep a priority. Most of us feel that sleep is a waste of time, that nothing happens during sleep. Can you imagine how many things I can get done if I just stayed up more? Do you know how much more productive I could be if I didn't have to sleep? Folks, you're wrong. When we go to sleep, our brain sucks about 20 to 30% of our blood supply to start cleaning house, decontaminating, forming memory, getting our cognition in check. The liver wakes up, tries to detox. The kidneys wake up, also working on detox. Spleen, doing the same thing. Need I go on? So the body is doing tremendous amount of detoxification when we sleep. You know all those people that sign up for all these amazing detox protocols online? Sleep, people. Just get enough sleep and you are most of the way there. I'm going to go out to my teens. So many of my teens usually say, "Oh, you don't understand, Dr. Temple. I would totally get more sleep if I just didn't have as much homework." Now I realize that we're overscheduled in school and taking too many ridiculous classes, therefore too much homework. But let's be honest, that phone, that social media, that really interrupts homework, which makes homework last forever and ever. Also, scheduling our day to get homework done is not always a priority. We do wait until the last minute and we do homework in the evening, and then it takes 4 hours, which then messes up our sleep. But what are we doing besides doing homework? A lot of Netflix, a lot of texting, Snapchat, Instagram, watching this awesome video. Just saying. This one goes out to my adults. No one's going to be my friend, but alcohol, people. Alcohol is a problem. Drinking at nighttime interferes with your sleep. A lot of people, it helps them fall asleep, but it messes up with staying asleep. So if you're always waking up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that is your liver waking you up because it is upset by the alcohol that you were drinking before you went to bed. So you know when you enjoy your glass of wine with maybe a little snack and a good show right before bed, that's killing your sleep. Okay, let's talk bedtime routines for the people that are not teenagers and adults. Really important to get our dinner done, bath time, reading, maybe walk outside, do some mindfulness, which could include let's feel the weather. Is it humid? Is it hot? What does it sound like? Do you hear birds chirping? What are color of the leaves? What smells do you feel? Teaching kids to be in the present, grounding right after dinner, brushing teeth, peeing, reading books, going to bed. Notice the one thing that I didn't say. TV or screen time. No children's programming, no iPads, no phones between dinner and bedtime. When we allow our children to watch any kind of screens, even if it's Elmo and Bambi, it has nothing to do with content. It is the blue light from the devices that tell our brain it's daytime, lowers the melatonin level, which then prevents us from falling asleep or having a good night's sleep. This goes out to my late night snackers. The body does not want food in the belly right before bed. The body at night wants to detox the brain, detox the liver, kidneys, like we talked about. It needs to clean house, take out the trash and recycling, and get ready for the next day. It does not want to sit and digest food. A lot of people know about intermittent fasting, and they do all this stuff. Here's the thing, folks. When you sleep, you don't eat. So if you stop eating 2 hours before bedtime, you're already beginning the fast. And fasting is really important to regulate your hormones like insulin, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, your leptin, your ghrelin, all these guys that are important in our everyday. But children don't need to do fasting for hours. They just need to not eat 2 hours before bed, sleep all night, and then they could wake up and eat later that morning. But let's talk about the children who have electronic devices. What do we do with those? We control them. We own their phones and we own their iPads. It's not theirs. And even if they purchased them or got them as a gift, we pay for the data and the Wi-Fi. Therefore, these devices are ours. And we're going to take control of these devices, and they're not allowed in the rooms. The biggest excuse I get is, "Oh, you don't understand, Dr. Temple. These are our alarm clocks." Pro tip, Amazon has alarm clocks for under $10. What? There's an issue with the children giving up their devices? Okay, well then get a Wi-Fi controller. We have the Gryphon that controls everyone's Wi-Fi, and from my phone I can shut it all down. And on my Verizon app, I have controlled everybody's phone, and I control their data. I can turn their data off at 10 p.m. and not restart it until 5 a.m. Now you may say, how is the phone actually interfering with sleep? Well, number one, they did this awesome study where they put people in functional MRI machines, and they had one phone that was off attached to this ear and one phone that was on attached to this ear. And people were sending text messages to the phones, and they watched the brain activity on the functional MRI. What they noticed is on the side that the phone was off, there was no activity in the MRI machine. When they looked at the side where the phone was on, they saw tons of brain activity on that side. They did it further, and they moved the phones 3 feet away on each side. Same activity was noticed. So you don't necessarily need to look at the phone when the messages are coming in and your notifications are coming in. It's waking up your brain, preventing you from getting a good night's sleep. On top of the fact that it's emitting EMF radiation, which is also waking up your brain, and it's bringing a lot of concerns from the World Health Organization about cancer. How do I take control of phones in my house? Well, both parents, mom and dad, and the children have to put all the devices in a common charging area, and by 9:30, because my kids are older teenagers, and in the morning, I'm the first one to wake up, and the first thing I do is look at the charging station. If any devices are missing, that is an automatic 24-hour confiscation of the device. And let me tell you, it's only happened one time per child. Okay, so you've done all that, and we're still having some sleep issues. Let's talk about a couple of devices that have made a huge difference in our household with our sleep. One of the devices that I use, clearly because I already cracked it, is called HeartMath. And it's this device that clips onto your shirt, and then you have this part that clips onto the ear. This is Bluetooth, and it connects to your phone via an app. Let's take a look at how it looks like on your phone. So it is a round circle, and you're supposed to breathe in synchrony with this thing. Green, you're in synchronization. Blue, not so much. Red, bad. With anything, this is going to take practice. But on the app, we have settings for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So you get to learn. Here is what it looks like when somebody is not breathing in synchronization with their heart. This is how someone is breathing and doing it beautifully. This is what I have to deal with. And I'm posting it only because she's being so annoying. What I was trying to say is that my issue has not been with falling asleep. My issue has been staying asleep. And despite doing all the things we talked about, I just couldn't do it. So I got my HeartMath, and I got trained on how to do heart rate variability, and it made a huge difference. So even now, we're talking almost a year later, if I have a really stressful day, I'll sit down and do this for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's my way of meditation, and it helps my sleep tremendously. Okay, next device is the AlphaStim. You may have heard me mention this before. This little device is amazing for getting sleep on track. This is an FDA-approved device for insomnia. Here we have a demonstration from the one who really wanted to be on camera. Let's lift your hair, Allie. So this is how you clip these things to your ears, and the device is right here. And go ahead and turn it on for us with your cool new nails. No, it's the top thing.
She usually turns it on.
Okay, so there's how it turns on, and she does it for 40 minutes. For her, it's 2 bars, but your provider will help you, and it will be amazing for a good night's sleep. It takes about 24 to 48 hours to notice if this will work for you. Let's talk supplements. Magnesium is always something that needs to be discussed. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, you have a magnesium deficiency until proven otherwise. I prefer this brand, and I like magnesium citrate or glycinate depending on my patients. You can get this in our office or from our supplement website. Another fabulous supplement for sleep is GlyMag-Z by Pure Encapsulations. This is 3 grams of glycine and a little bit of magnesium. It can make a huge difference in people's sleep. Great success. Also at our office or on. Then we have essential oils. Lavender is awesome to diffuse, or you can put a couple of drops in this handy dandy vegetable capsule and have a good night's sleep. I am also a big fan of Serenity, and I add a little patchouli because it's grounding, and I really love the smell that it produces. So I love this combo that I make all on my own. And lastly, we have melatonin. We really need to discuss melatonin. A lot of people use it to get the kids to sleep or get themselves to sleep without doing any of the things that we talked about in the beginning of the presentation. And if you're just using it without doing lifestyle changes, well, that's just another medication. And now you're messing with your hormones. But there's some people that truly have a melatonin deficiency. Let's talk about people with anxiety. When you have anxiety, you have low serotonin. You need serotonin to make melatonin. So a lot of my folks that have anxiety are going to need some melatonin to regulate their sleep. There's also children that are deficient in melatonin, and we need to supplement them while we're doing other lifestyle and nutrition modifications and increasing their melatonin levels naturally. But sometimes we need this to bridge the gap until we can get it done. Just kidding. There's one more thing. How can I forget my CBD oil that I love and adore? This is also amazing for sleep, and it comes in the 20 milligrams per ml or 10 milligrams per ml. And we'll be happy to discuss this with you when you visit us in clinic. I also did an entire post or educational series, if you will. Just look under highlights, CBD in pink. Have a great night's sleep.